Hello there, pens and pencils. Welcome to Basically Misled. I'm Dagny.
And I'm Day.
We give advice. 50% is life-changing, 50% will leave you crying in a stairwell by the end of the day. You decide which is which.
Come procrastinate with us while we chatter endlessly about things you could probably just Google. Today we're talking about anger, aren't we?
Yep.
Being angry.
Yep. And you should know that we're in a pretty good mood right now, so it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the light side of anger. It's anger when we're not angry.
What's giving the perspective of when we are angry from a lighthearted viewpoint,
anyway,
which is the best way to talk about anger. That's our goal.
Watch us get, like, super dark.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, like, 30 minutes in, and we're like, and then I almost reached for the knife.
That hasn't happened before. And
allegedly, that never happened. Is
that
how you use allegedly?
Yes. Your back was turned. No, I would never do that on you. Okay.
Only because it would be too easy to hide the body.
Yeah.
Or too difficult to hide the body. What am I saying?
No, it'd be too close. You're a body too close to me.
Interestingly, I just got a new set of knives. Not that this relates to anger in any way at all, but they're really sharp, actually. They're very nice.
And if they ever need, get dulled, she has a knife sharpener.
I do. They also, though, they have, a shine to them.
They do.
And I'm like, how long is that gonna last? And is that, an oil they put on, or is that the metal?
I think
is the metal that shiny?
It will dull quickly. Don't worry.
Why is it so shiny though? I want it to be shiny forever.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Makes me so angry. No,
oh my gosh.
Anyway, Day is a much more angry person than me, so
yes.
Day, tell us about your anger because.
Where to start?
I feel, because when I think, I feel like I'm not really an angry person.
Right.
And the reason I think that partially is because I feel like you really relate to emotions just like seething anger.
Yes.
You relate to that.
Yes. I really like seething anger as a word phrase, by the way. Mm-hmm. Seething might be my favorite word today.
You're welcome.
No, I already was thinking that. It's not you.
Wow, so it's just in sync with your brain. You're welcome again.
But no, I feel like, I definitely, if I'm frustrated with somebody, it can quickly turn to mild anger, mm-hmm. which then just, boils into a seething rage, almost.
Oh, right, rage, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't always recognize that I'm angry. Mm-hmm. I'm just why am I feeling this, this infuriating blah towards this person? Then I'm oh, it's because I'm mad at them. And, actually angry with them or what they're doing or who they are or... It happens for books. I get really angry at books and, TV shows and... Mm-hmm.
So you practice it fairly regularly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've heard me when I'm, watching a show.
That's true.
And I'm just no, get the fuck out of there, you idiot. Or, just saying a bunch of things to somebody that's on a screen.
Would you say that with anger you have to... there has to be blame involved in the feeling of anger, either somebody or something, or even some concepts life isn't fair. You could be mad about that, but it's because
you're blaming something.
You think things should be a different way and they're not, and
your anger is towards the cause of what you think made it not. Because
I don't know. Because I was trying to think. I was can you be angry without blaming something outside yourself for doing something? And I don't know if you can't. Is that outside the definition of anger, then?
I don't know. I don't know what the definition of anger is.
Well, if you think of like how you use it for yourself, your own personal definition.
I mean, yeah, I think blame probably is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause it's not like I'm just randomly angry at someone. There's always a cause behind it. And like, yeah, because sometimes I think it wouldn't necessarily be blame in my mind that it is. Like, I wouldn't identify it as blame, but thinking about it in that broad sense of just something that has gone differently than you wanted, and to find somebody to be angry about that with and, like, put blame on, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was in my definition, but it is now.
Well, no, not that it would be in your definition, but, like, could you... Like, I don't think you can be angry with someone without blaming them.
Me, like, I think...
Putting the control, like, somebody has control over something, and they have failed in some way. Like, failed you or society or something.
Right. Yeah, I think partly I can be, like, such a people pleaser at times and, like, want to make people happy. And for me, being angry at somebody is the opposite of that, or, like, one of the opposites. So I think it, like, takes being mad. Or, like, putting blame on somebody. There's a cause behind my anger towards them.
Right.
Although I think also sometimes it can be misdirected. Like, I can transfer things onto other people.
So in a way, it could be like a way to protect yourself, because if you don't stop, like, being a people pleaser unless you're angry, then you become angry, so then you can actually, like, assert yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. But, like, I think a lot of transference happens with me. Or maybe that word is supposed to be counter-transference. But anyways, because, like, I'll be mad at, like, say, my class, but then direct it at, like, my pen not working. Or something. You know?
Yeah.
That's a very mild example. But, I think... Yeah, so it's not even like I'm being assertive all the time and showing my true feelings, because then I just transfer it to something else, so they still don't know my true feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing with me is that I feel like it's not that I never get angry, but anger has, like, a really hard time sticking in my mind, and I feel like, to me, it immediately switches to something else. Like, I don't sit around being mad about stuff.
You don't sit in your room and just seethe a little bit because you, like, know what's happening or what has happened, and you're just mad and glaring at the wall.
No, I don't do that. Because what I do is I just get sad usually.
Right.
Like I'm angry and I'm like, this is unfair, but then I kind of wiggle out of it. And it's not like I'm not still experiencing bad emotions, but I'm just, like, not angry anymore. And I don't know, I don't think that's necessarily better at all.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was actually thinking about it, and I'm like, maybe it's because I think that anger is more of a call to action than sadness. Sometimes. Yeah. Or maybe all the time. I feel like anger is more like you feel, like, more compelled to, like, do something. Like, I need to do something now. But sadness is not, and I feel like that has been my go-to thing for, like, many years. Like, that's kind of what I default back onto now, is like from being depressed, is like,
right.
I just kind of, like, shut everything out and just kind of, like, go numb.
Right.
So maybe now when I experience distress, I tend to move more toward that than to being super reactionary.
When do you think you felt anger? the last time? Like, when was the last time you can remember feeling some sort of anger?
My birthday.
Okay, yeah.
That shouldn't surprise you. Does that surprise you?
No, I completely forgot about your birthday. Okay, the second time.
The second
to last
time? Okay. Why, you don't want to go into that one?
No, that one's just boring to me.
Okay, that's fair. I was mad on my birthday because that's when our friend group broke up. I'm putting it in the recording.
Yeah.
Our friend group broke up. Why did they have to do it on my birthday? Why did they have to do that?
See, she's still angry.
Maybe I am a little mad about that.
Yeah, I think I feel like, okay, we're going back to the second to last thing for you. Mm-hmm. But in my brain right now, I feel like I'm associating anger and madness as the same thing, but they are different. I think.
Oh, are they?
I feel like being mad, being frustrated, it's like a step below being angry.
Oh. Okay, well.
That's what I feel like.
I can see that. I think, yeah, being frustrated is a step below. So, I'm trying to think because it's funny that we're having this right after our bitching episode. We must have been we were at least frustrated. I don't think we were
mad at each other. Except for that silverware thing. No, I'm joking.
I don't think I was angry then. So I think that whole weekend where I was just frustrated.
Yeah.
I don't think I was angry then though. So, okay, second to next time. I want to say at my family.
Okay, yeah.
Because there was, because when I look back at the quarter, okay, the first part of the quarter was rough for a couple reasons that were not anger inducing at all.
Right, yeah.
They were just like stress inducing, and I think to some people that can come out as anger, like they just like become angry. They're just like, how could this have happened to me, and like these people I care about, right? But I'm just like, oh, I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah.
And so the first part of the quarter was like a little bit rough in that way, and then I started and then I was just kind of chilling to like try to like recover a little bit from that. And then my birthday happened. So I think that the second till next time I was sad was probably at my family for something.
The second to last time you were sad?
I was mad.
You said sad.
Sorry.
Because it's your default.
No, I'm sad all the time.
Yeah. No.
But probably when I visited my family.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty recent. Like, those 2 times are pretty recent.
Well, it's 2 times in the last, like, 2.5 months.
Yeah, okay.
That's not that recent.
A lot more.
That's, like, I probably, like, 1 time a month.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I feel like second nature to me at this point. So I'm like, oh, only once a month. How long have I been?
Tell me the last 2 times you were angry. I don't know this at all, actually.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. I think one of them has to be our friend group breaking up as well. Mm-hmm. And, like, more towards, like, individual people, but, like, also... I mean, I was so over the breakup already. Like, it had already happened for me in some ways.
I think that's what I was sad about, just as a side note, is because I feel like everyone had gotten over the breakup before I initiated it, and I was like, how could you emotionally go through the breakup without physically doing the breakup? And you know what? Maybe I just lack basic social cues.
No, it's just avoidance. It's everybody not wanting to confront the subject. And avoiding it, and then slowly detaching. And I think it's good to have a talk to end things in a good way. 'Cause, like, I've done the Feta, as we were talking about in our last episode, and there's always that slight, like, feeling that you might have to, like, hang out with them again.
Right,
even
like,
though you don't
out.
want to. Yeah, reach out.
Or, like, if they need a favor.
Right.
Like, you probably should be there.
Right.
That's what I didn't want. I didn't want to just, have that just, like, hanging over me. Like,
right.
oh, we never hang out, but...
I mean, I still have that hanging over me, apparently. But that's whatever. I have dug my own grave for that thing. When was the second to last time I was... Well, it probably was towards an ex-friend of mine.
Oh. That was more recent than the friend group breaking up, though.
That's just been an ongoing thing for months now.
You know what? I'm trying to think of, maybe there was another time when I was angry earlier, but I don't know if it was really anger or not. But I was like, basically, because I like drank a few times, and when I drink like artificial sweetener.
Yeah.
But I think it's making me depressed, so I've now stopped.
Now. Yeah.
But I did it for like 4 days, and when I decided to stop but still felt bad like a day later because it just like takes a while, I think I was mad about that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think I was more like mad at the world or something. I was like, how did I not know this? Like, I'm so stupid. Like, how could I do this to myself?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I was like, how could I possibly know that?
Right. Like, you can't.
You can't. And so, I don't know. I don't think that was anger.
Yeah. I feel like there's been not a lot of times I've been mad at myself. I don't know. I have been more sad than mad lately as well, I think. But I think that's just because my anger has just all been there constantly. And now I'm actually accepting other emotions.
Yeah. I don't know if this is true or not, but in my mind, I'm like, anger is like when... To me, I'm like, anger is when you're putting, like, responsibility on other people to be a certain way, but sadness is just accepting that that's how the world is.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm being more, I'm trying to be responsible for my own feelings on every subject, and that's why it's hard to keep around anger.
Okay.
Because it's hard for me to blame other people for my reaction to things.
So which is worst? Worse. Yeah, worst. Anger.
It's worse.
Which is worse? Anger or sadness? Like, because from that description, I feel like sadness is the better thing because you're accepting things. You're not, like, trying to, like, force things to be a different way. But, like, sadness is just, I hate being sad. It's, like, such a funk.
I think in my mind, and this is why I, like, wonder, I was like, how was I, like, did people tell me it was bad to be angry growing up? Because I feel like I do have
People told me.
I have a really strong thing of, like, I do feel like it's better to be sad. Like, I feel like more, I don't know, maybe it's not that I feel more responsible. Maybe I feel more in control being sad or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do feel like being sad it's like admitting that you control your own mind. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay.
Because if I'm sad about something, then I can choose to, like, personally work through it and to not be sad.
Right.
But if I'm angry,
you can...
it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's, like, one step away.
Right, because, like, you can work through anger with yourself, but you still have that blame you've put on somebody. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you have to acknowledge it with them for it to really go away.
I guess I have a really hard time blaming anyone for too long because it eventually just kind of flips around and then I just blame myself.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I guess I would say
that,
yeah.
The other way around.
I prefer sadness, I guess. Maybe it's just as simple as that. Like, I came up with all these explanations, but in the end, I just prefer sadness over anger.
Wow. Yeah.
Would you say you prefer being angry over being sad?
Yeah. Because I feel like sad is too vulnerable. I don't like crying, Dagny.
You know what's weird? In the last, like, 2 months, I think I've cried more than I have, like, in a long time.
Same.
Like, what is this?
Like,
I feel like I've been exposed to the world. Somehow.
Yeah, no, like, even the past couple of weeks, I feel like it's just been tears, and then they stop, and then more tears, and then they stop, and it's all about, like, something. But, well, like,
mine
obviously.
is not. Mine is just, like, I feel, like, exposed to life.
Wow.
Like, life is just right. It's just touching me.
Yeah. Just, boop.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah.
What did your mom tell you? Don't be so angry day song.
Using my middle name. Wow. No.
Don't look Day up on Facebook.
My middle name is not on Facebook.
Oh, never mind.
And you know what's so funny is that in a previous episode, we've told them to look me up on Facebook.
Oh, well, I'm taking it back. If you hadn't done it by now, like, shame on you.
You're not doing it at all. Yeah, God. I'm so good on there. No. So, I think I don't remember her specifically ever saying Day. Well, maybe I do remember her saying Day, don't be mad. Or like angry. I just remember knowing that anger issues run in my family. She more so told me to not be passive aggressive because then all my friends would leave me. In like more complex terms, but like that's the gist. And here I am still passive aggressive, so. And I'm leaving everybody, not them.
Yeah, I think in my mind, the reason I don't like being passive aggressive is because I'm like, being passive aggressive is just like, it's being like a wimp. Like,
yeah, it's
you
cowardly.
like you won't stand up for yourself. And I'm like, I don't want to be a wimp. So I try not to be passive aggressive.
Well, Dagny, I'm just a wimp.
You're aggressive and passive aggressive. Good job.
Yeah, and well, my passive aggressiveness, if I don't act on it, and like, if I stay passive, not meaning that I should get aggressive, but if I don't confront those things, then it turns into a seething anger that I then have to confront. Yeah. So, I don't know. I haven't left passive aggressive notes around yet. Okay. I just thought that would be really fun to do. To tell people what to do with things in our house.
I feel like the way I know I'm being passive aggressive is if I want to say something else, but instead I'm just implying it by saying like with like on Tinder, like when people don't like if people ghost me,
right,
or just being really dumb, in my opinion, I do want to send them just like really sarcastic messages, but I don't, because I don't like the idea of being sarcastic with someone you've never met and over message. Like, maybe someone you knew, I would send a sarcastic message, but at that point I feel like you're just being an idiot if you think that you can just, like, you should just send sarcastic messages to people you don't know, and like that's like a good idea in any way. Like,
right, like,
what are you doing for yourself?
If I've never met a person, like, in person, like, I've only talked to them online, or even, like, in the first couple of, like, hanging out with them, I am, like, in hanging out, I try to be sarcastic, but over a message, my sarcasm just turns to, like, me being really rude, or, like...
Right.
But I'm really just, like, teasing. So I feel like I can't really do that unless they know who I am as a person. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just... Or maybe not. I'm very sarcastic with you sometimes, I feel like.
I know. I feel like I've had less of a tolerance for it in the last few weeks.
Really?
Well...
Have I been too sarcastic? Because I was just
I'm surprised you didn't notice that, because I was like... I don't know. I feel like we had a whole thing, and like we weren't talking as much in person.
Yeah.
Not in person. In person, it's totally cool.
Right.
But then, like, you text me, And then you say things that, like, yeah, I mean, it basically sounds like just a complete insult, where I feel like normally I'd be okay with it. But, like, in the last few weeks, I've just been like, why is Day so mean to me?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I'm not mad about it.
I know, but I feel like when I say sorry, it's because I feel like maybe you're sad about it.
I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm more like, oh, you should just, like, I don't know. I don't.
Mom was right. I'm losing friends.
No, I don't hold it against you, and I'm also like, it's a small thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of flipping around.
You don't know me.
Well, last night, I literally texted you last night, you're so mean to me.
You did?
What did you say to me?
I don't remember what happened.
I remember. I made an extremely funny joke. And I said,
God.
And then you didn't answer it, and then I replied with, okay, my joke was funny though, right? Come on. And then you said, you are so funny. And I just took that as just an extremely scathing remark. And then I responded to that with a bunch of, okay, I'm like, I'm not passive aggressive, but I responded with a bunch of these little pictures. That's like this little, like, queen lady with, like, the L on her forehead, like, loser, sticking her tongue out. And then I said, you're being mean to me. And then another picture.
Yeah. But to the queen things, before Dagny said, you're being so mean to me, I just said, wow, oh, wow. And then what was my response to? I was like, oh, and then I don't think I even read that you're being so mean.
You didn't answer it at all. But see, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes I kind of respond to it, but you just, like, kind of blow over it. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Well, you had a more important message that I wanted to respond to, and it took me, like, forever to respond to it, because I was at my internship. So, like, I also, like,
I
that's why...
I don't expect you to be quick, like, I don't care about
Right,
that.
that's why, like, I was chuckling at your joke, but then I also had somebody talking about phones, and I was like, I can't have my phone out right now.
Right.
And also...
You're just a real work texter.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, I'm not put in a situation where I don't know. I draw in class. I've not ever been in a work situation where it'd be realistic to use my phone. So.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely text during work and stuff like that. But also, you were, like, texting me, so then I felt like I needed to text you back, and then I was like, probably shouldn't have been, but it was whatever. I'm sorry. I will be more in tune when you tell me you're being mean, or I'm being mean.
Yeah. Well, there's this, like, I think this theory that I think is maybe why I'm kind of like, oh, anger. That's kind of like, I feel like it's not, in my mind, it's not like a valuable emotion to talk about, like, having, or like, not, that's a bad way to phrase that.
Yeah.
But like,
gosh.
I feel like because anger is very natural, and for a lot of people,
right.
It's like a very big part of their life. So like, obviously, like, then it is, but like, my mom always told me that, like, anger is, like, never your first emotion. It's, like, always a secondary thing. It's a reaction to something else. So it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so vulnerable. And, like, it's really hard to feel that way. And so your brain immediately switches to anger. Because I think, because I think anger is
easy.
It's easier, and it's, like, very protective of yourself. And it's kind of empowering in a lot of ways,
right?
To put yourself in a position of, like, something is doing something to you, and you're, like, not, I don't know, that's not leading to a sense of empowered in my mind. Yes. But I feel like if you have this, like, raging emotion against the world, then, like, you aren't just in a ball crying.
Well, I also think being angry and confronting that with somebody else kind of puts you in a place of power, because you have so much emotion and, like, anger about it that the other person, like, I feel like when I'm thinking about it, it kind of puts you in, like, a place of dominance, because you have, like, this emotion over the other person.
Right. Or I also have seen that, like, it's being angry is, like, the emotion most tied to, like, moral feelings. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you're angry at someone, you probably think that you have, like, the moral high ground in that situation.
Right, yeah.
So, like, that's the kind of power you have over them. Is that something should have been a certain way, and it wasn't. And, like, that's because of them, and they're, like, failing to live up to standards, and you are not failing to live up to standards.
You're above them.
Well, you're enforcing the standards, so
yeah,
that puts you in, a more powerful position.
Yeah. Yeah, when you were telling me about this, because I had never heard about that before, and I feel like my first thought was, like, okay, what emotions do I feel before anger? And I feel like a lot of the time it's disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm disappointed with the way this person has done things. So then I get mad with them.
Right.
Or, like, see, because there's been a time recently where I think I've talked about this person before, but, like, I've been sad about them because of, them just not communicating with me and talking to me. And I was trying to think if I ever felt anger. And I think at times I was just, like, really frustrated and kind of mad at them. But it always went back to sadness really quickly. Mm-hmm. Or just, like, trying to understand them.
Right.
Or be forgiving of them if they were in a situation that I didn't know about. Because I didn't really, like, I felt anger at times because I wanted to talk to them and have them be there for me, but they couldn't be. But then I also just found somebody else to kind of, like, start filling their role. Mm-hmm. And now they're, like, lower on the totem pole, even though they want to talk to me.
I wonder if it's harder to be, like, maybe it's that it's harder to be compassionate and angry at the same time, but you can be sad and compassionate at the same time.
Right, I think
you can be disappointed with someone, but still try to, like, understand their struggle.
Yeah.
But I think it's really hard to be angry with someone and go for any understanding at all.
Because anger and empathy do not coincide with each other.
Right. Yeah, you can't be blaming someone while simultaneously being like, tell me your side of it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I feel like also sometimes, though, I might get sad, and then it switches to anger, because anger is easier than sadness for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what's interesting? Because I would probably say that people being angry is probably... I think that I personally tolerate it a lot less in people compared to, like, other terrible traits that someone might have. I feel like anger is, I have a pretty low tolerance for other people being angry.
Have you known about my anger?
Well,
issues?
I don't... That's why I'm like, that's so weird, because you are, like, you're definitely...
Have you noticed how angry I can get at times? Like, because I feel like sometimes I hide it. Like, I don't let people know I'm really angry with them at times.
Maybe I have it more tied up in expressing anger, and the fact that you don't express it.
Yeah, I never have, like,
in
big
an angry
blowouts.
Way. Most of the time. Maybe that's why. But I think probably hearing about it is probably, like, as much as, like, you could tell me probably a lot of terrible things about yourself. Yeah. And I would probably judge those things less than you being angry, is all I'm saying. And
interesting.
I don't know why that is. Maybe I just want everyone to be like me.
What's your childhood like?
Be sad, everyone. That's what I'm telling you. No. Go get depressed.
No, anger's the way to go. Yeah.
I think anger slows you down less.
Yeah, because you just steamroll through it.
Right. So I think in that way, like...
Yeah, you're just, like, sedentary for days. I'm like, woo! Often
Day never stops, so that is something to be said about anger. Like, just fuels her.
Yeah, I mean, is that really anger, or is it just me constantly having to do something and stressing myself out?
I think a lot of times it's easier to do something if you're not sad.
Yeah, I mean, for a couple days there, it was rough going, man.
I don't know.
A while, actually. But, yeah.
I mean, I just made that up. Don't listen to me.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have a good response when people are angry at me.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I do not like it when people are angry at me.
And, like...
I mean, I think that's just, for a second, is, like, probably extremely natural and
right.
evolutionarily a good idea. If somebody's, like, angry at you, they're probably about to attack you. And if someone's about to attack you, you probably shouldn't be like, oh, how are you doing? Like, you should probably be ready to attack back.
Right. And, like, yeah, I have a lot of defense mechanisms set in place. And, like, I don't know. I can't really remember the last time somebody was truly angry with me. Like, it's been years, probably. Mm-hmm. Although you're looking at me in an interesting way.
No!
Maybe you have been angry at me. No. And so... But I think, yeah, it just dates back to when I was, like, growing up and being around anger and arguments and things. Like, I don't do well with that. Like, even having, like, a heavy discussion with one or more other people can, like, be really rough for me.
That's
and
true.
Draining. And if I think it's going to go, like, if it's a disagreement, if I think it's going towards argument, like... No, gotta run away.
So you associate those kind of discussions with anger?
Or just, like if
it's a heavy disagreement?
Argument. Yeah.
Because I don't at all. I'm like, that's so fun.
That, like, just
I love arguing.
Talking about it now, like, I'm panicking. Like, I can playful argue. And I can actually argue. But I feel like if I'm seeing two people have an argument, or I see it coming towards me and it's about something that I don't think I have, like, the moral high ground on, not good.
Right. I mean, basically, at least for the first entire year I knew you, I think, that if a serious conversation came up, you kind of deflected and moved it all into, like, what the other person thought. As in, like, you didn't really say anything about how you felt. And then in a big group discussion, if anything, like, serious, like, if a serious topic started, like, you just go completely silent. Yeah. In the entire first year I knew you, at least.
Oh, at least.
At least. And I feel like then, like, slowly you would say a little bit, like, on one-on-one discussions, like, you would reveal your own opinion. But it's actually, you know, looking back, I didn't notice it, though. Because you're pretty good at keeping the conversation going without actually having your opinion out there. And I didn't really realize it for a while that that's what was happening.
I didn't even know that I adapted that ability.
Yeah.
Because I think it's also something that I've recently realized and recognized in myself. And I think college has really helped me start to talk about things. Mm-hmm. And, like, I participate in group discussions, small group discussions about, like, heavier topics now, but it's always, I mean, yeah, like, we recently in my class, like, had a talk about, like, different types of, like, isms and things like that, like, because our class is a cultural competency class, so we were talking about some of that and, like, our own experiences with it. But I think even then, like, I was pretty quiet. I mean, I'm always quiet. Like, I said something to some of my classmates a couple weeks ago because I had a sore throat. And I was like, because usually I talk a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I was like, hey, like, sorry, I'm not inputting answers. I just have a sore throat and really don't want to talk right now. And then one of them was like, Day, you're always quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then another one was like, except when she isn't. But see, I'm talkative on lighter subjects.
You are. You will go for days about the most, like, useless, pointless details that nobody cares about, and you will remember them and recite them for anyone using a lot of extra words.
Yes, I'm wordy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's my reaction to people's disagreement and anger. And
see, when people are actually angry, if I feel like it's in a situation that is not a discussion situation, then I feel like very uncomfortable. And I'm like, no. And I also think I distance myself from them in the way where I'm like, you need to get this under control.
Yeah.
Like, that's not my problem. Like, you're like but I also feel like, I mean, I feel attacked, but I'm also like, no, like, this is not acceptable behavior.
Right.
But if it's any sort of situation where a discussion could be taking place, then I'm like in it. I'm like, let's discuss. Like, let's take this to a discussion level.
No.
That's so interesting because I feel like that's like one thing, especially when I was in like middle school, like early high school, I'm like, that's what's important to me for people to do. And yet look at you. You're just like, that's so hard. I'm just going to be quiet over here.
Yeah.
That's okay. You do a decent job now.
I'll get better,
Although
okay?
I will say that I did read online that anger can be a defense mechanism when people feel like they're getting too close with someone as a way to just distance themselves. So, Day, if you're ever angry with me, I'm just going to assume that's what it is. I'll back off a little bit, but I'll stay close. So you'll be like, no, this is a serious problem. And I'll be like, it's okay, sweetie. I'm not going to leave you.
It's a serious problem that you start putting my steamer basket in the right spot.
Oh my god. All right. Leaving. We'll just stop talking there.
Yep. Okay, let's close out today with a question of who is on your hit list? Dagny's on mine.
Oh my god. You'd have no one left.
I know. I'd be alone forever. Okay.
You can find us on Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, CastBox, and Messy. Even though no one goes on Messy. We know.
Hey. Yep. Okay. You can email us anything you like at basicallymisled@gmail.com. I
just have to say, the way you said anything you like, you kind of had like a shoulder movement and a little bit of like an eye thing, and I just thought, what you said was anything you like. What I heard was nude photos. But don't send us nude photos.
Please do not.
I just wanted to make sure that's clear.
Want nude photos.
In case that, like, just image came over the microphone.
That's for Facebook people.
Okay, not my Facebook.
Okay.
Thanks for listening and good luck with your future endeavors.